Hello, good morning. Welcome back for my first vlog of the month of November. Today is Tuesday, November 7th. 1 week until I turned 37. Oh my gosh, there is so much happening. I can't even begin to tell you. I had our dress rehearsal for a choir concert last night, which was great. It was exhausting. I was on my feet for a lot of it, which is great, fine, lovely, whatever. 13,000 steps without a workout yesterday. It was a busy day. I'm kind of tired, but that's okay. We're going to have this day and it is going to be lovely. Today is going to be a day in the life vlog with an emphasis on intuitive eating and how I determine how I go about my day intuitively eating. I'm starting it now because it is 10:22 a.m. and I am now to the point of hungry enough where I need to go eat food. I have really started to embrace the whole listening to my hunger and fullness signals, and that often comes at the expense of the rule of having food before coffee. There are most days, I can't say all days, but most days I wake up and I am not hungry. I am not hungry enough to warrant having a breakfast. So I have my cup of coffee, I have a morning routine, I get some stuff done, and then I go on with my day until I'm hungry enough to have breakfast. And when I say hungry enough, I mean like there's actual like physical hunger. There are days that I wake up and I'm hungry immediately. My tummy's already rumbling. I can feel the emptiness in my stomach and I know that food is the right choice first thing. But I would say probably 85% of my days are not like that. I'm eating breakfast between 9:30 and 10:30 in the morning. So I wanted to kind of carry you through my day intuitively eating, and of course, whatever else happens today, because day in my life, why the heck not? I only have one thing scheduled today, which is a coaching call with one of my clients. Fantastic. But then it's a free day to kind of do whatever it is I need to do. Thank the good Lord for that, because the end of this week is going to be utter chaos with 3 choir concerts, 3 days in a row. It's going to be madness, but it's going to be great. So welcome to my day. Let's go have breakfast. All right, so I'm going to make an egg fold over for breakfast this morning. These are one of my favorite breakfasts. They've got protein, they've got fiber, they're super satisfying, and you can kind of make them any flavor profile that you want to make them, which is the best part. So what I have for them this time around is the Olay Extreme Wellness High Fiber Wraps. I'm going to put Parmesan cheese in my fold over today because there is not very many other cheese choices in the house and we're trying to use up what we have. We've got 2 eggs that are gonna go in here. I've got some tomato and basil garlic spaghetti sauce. That's gonna be my tomatoing. So I've got the Italian, the tomato sauce and the Parmesan cheese to make it the Italian style one, right? And then a splash of liquid egg whites. I don't often use egg whites anymore just because the 2 eggs is satisfying enough, but we're trying to use up the stuff that we have in the house. So I'm gonna just throw a splash in here and it's going to be delicious and wonderful. And here's the intuitive eating part of it. So one of the things that I have found works really well for me is to take or make less than you think you will need, which for something like the egg fold over is actually a little bit harder to do because you make one and you're done, right? So what I do is I start with just the egg fold over. And then when I'm eating the egg fold over, I will determine once I'm done whether or not I want to go back for a second source of food. Some days I've gone back for a piece of fruit or an English muffin with some butter or a healthy eating on the go bar. And then there are other days where the fold over itself is enough. It just depends on the day. So we'll see what happens when I'm done. That is super, super important for me and for you. Whether or not you're intuitively eating, tracking, not tracking, dieting, not dieting, it's important to take a minute, a second to sit down before you eat and just be present. Be present. This is a whole mindfulness opportunity, right? We all want to become mindful eaters, intentional eaters, and we can't get in touch with our bodies if we are in current go, 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 like crazy stress mode, right? So I'm not saying you don't have to, I'm not saying you have to like sit in silence and eat. I'm not saying you have to not think about the stuff that's coming, that you're doing. Maybe you're at work. I'm saying take a second. And before you start eating, like my food's right there, just take an inhale. 2 or 3 deep breaths to calm the system, so you can operate from a system that wants to digest your food instead of a system of fight and flight. This is the difference between your parasympathetic and your sympathetic nervous systems. You want to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. And to do that, you need to be in a place of calm. So even if it's 5 seconds and 3 breaths, take a moment before you start to eat your food, and then bon appetit. Okay, 10:48 a.m. It took me all of 10 minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes to eat that because I was freaking hungry. And now my gut instinct says go back for something else, but I'm going to wait. Somebody wants to play. Hello. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drink some water, because one thing I have noticed is since I've stopped tracking things, including my water intake, I have not been stellar at making sure I'm getting anywhere close to what resembles a water goal. And so I'm going to sit down with some water. I really want another cup of coffee, but I'm going to sit down with some water and play with Gracie and drink some water and give it a couple minutes before I reassess the hunger and satisfaction situation to determine whether or not I will go back for more food in a bit. Come here. What? All right, quick update. It is 2:58 p.m. and all I've eaten this afternoon is a healthy eating on the go bar. I ate it about an hour and a half ago-ish. Yeah, and not hungry at all. I'm cold, so I really wanted another cup of coffee, but I behaved myself and I made myself some tea instead, because probably having coffee at this time is not advisable, but it is what it is. So there's no hunger. I wasn't even terribly hungry at all when I grabbed the Healthy Eating on a Go bar. It was more of I'm starting to feel maybe a little empty, and I don't even know. That's all I wanted was a Healthy Eating on a Go bar. And so I've been sitting here doing stuff at my desk. I finally got something that resembles a Christmas wish list sent off to my family so they can stop pestering me about it. And that's what I've been working on. It took me quite some time, but it's done. Happy day. So there's that. Now I have a final coaching call with one of my clients to discuss goals in business and action item plans and all of those fun things. So I will talk to you when I'm done with her. You know, it was an excellent coaching session when it was your last session with the client and you get the send me a link so I can sign up because I want to keep going. Always a good way to end a call. All right, kind of time for dinner. I am making pork tenderloin tonight for dinner, which is one of my specialities, if I do say so myself. And I want to show you what I do that makes it so darn special. It's not hard, but it's necessary and it's delicious. Okay, so what you have to do to make the most exceptional pork is you have to brine it. So this is an unmeasured amount of salt. I take a big old bowl and I take my salt, and it's gonna freak y'all out. I know it is. But this is what gives it the tenderness and the flavor unlike anything you've ever had. So like I said, it's an unmeasured amount. I usually will taste the water and make sure it's, tastes like an ocean, salty water. But then in the video I originally found, which I don't know where it is, it was some random guy who just did like cooking videos and other videos, and he did this brining process and it was bonkers delicious. I wish I remembered who the guy was, but I don't. This was several years ago now. But he also adds, and it's gonna sound weird, a little bit of sugar to the brine as well. So now all I do is I fill this up with water and get everything nice and dissolved. And then we put the tenderloin in here for half an hour, but don't let it sit for like 45 minutes. All of a sudden it'll be too salty. Half an hour is the perfect amount of time. And just so you see it before I put it in, this is what I'm brining. It is a pork tenderloin, freaking delicious. A really nice lean cut of pork, all things considered. If you're looking at nutrition information, 4 ounces is 130 calories and 23 grams of protein. It's a stellar source of protein, you guys. Don't forget about the pork. All right, so here is what that looks like. That's gonna sit for half an hour. And now I'm gonna fall over apparently. I am going to have a snack because even though dinner's gonna be in like an hour, I'm hungry now. That's what happens when you don't have lunch. So I'm going to have some hummus. And my husband ate the other bag of carrots, so I guess I have to open this bag of carrots. Carrots and hummus as a little snacky snack. Now, one thing that is a huge switch from my calorie tracking days of remove the serving from the bag and put it on the plate. I've actually transitioned to just the opposite, and I now am going to sit down with the whole container of both of these things. Why? Because sometimes in my brain, the Clean Plate Club brain, there are things that I do take smaller servings for with permission to go back. But in a situation like this, where I don't necessarily want to completely eliminate the hunger, I just want to curb the extreme side of the hunger so I'm not ravenous by the time I get to dinner, if I pull out, let's say 10 carrots and 2 tablespoons of hummus, I'm gonna feel compelled to finish that. What if I only need 6 carrots? So I have found with potato chips and Cheetos and the package of Oreo cookies and all those things, I now sit down with the whole package, contrary to everything diet Brianna has ever said. And because that gives me the control to stop whenever I want. And it's magical. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sit down with my carrots, my hummus, and I'm gonna eat until I've just curbed the part of the hunger that feels like it's not gonna make it until dinner is ready. Okay, now that the pork is out of the brine, I've patted it dry. The last step before we cook it is to season it generously. And what I use to do that is this combination of the Trader Joe's onion salt. This is my ride or die seasoning. I use it on everything. It's so, so, so good. And then I have some dried rosemary here, which I will crush up in my fingers and sprinkle again generously all over the entire piece of meat. I've got about 15 minutes until I'm supposed to actually start cooking my pork, and I came downstairs after doing a couple more things upstairs and was like, I can sit and poke at my game, and not like my good game, I have to show y'all my good game, but like a match 3 game. And then I realized as I went in to just run a brush through my hair quick, because my husband and I are going to go on a little outing, even though it feels like it's 10 p.m. because it's so dark. It's actually only 5:53, but I realized that I could be proactive and focus on one of the things that I read recently that is super, super great advice. And that's when you have the opportunity, do something for future you. And I was like, so instead of sitting down and poking at this game, I can do a couple things like fill the coffee maker, fill up my APAP machine, start the nighttime routine things that I won't want to do later tonight. Proof of personal growth, ladies and gentlemen. obviously the next day now, but I wanted to tell you a little bit about what happened at the end of the day. So as you saw, my husband and I went to Trader Joe's and to IKEA, and we came home with a lot less than I wanted to, if we're being completely honest here, but I listened to my husband, who said only buy 1 or 2 things because we don't need all that much in the house right now. I was like, you're right. I hate that you're right, but you're right. So I brought home the 2 most important things to me to make sure I got my hands on this holiday season. 1 was these gingerbread sandwich cookies, and 2, and the most important, were these gingerbread men cookies. They bring back memories because the ones I used to eat as a kid don't exist anymore, but these are very, very close to that. So I go to Trader Joe's every year that I can and get myself a box of these to live in the holiday nostalgia. And I came home after eating my pork dinner, and I was not hungry. I was a little bit, like, I wasn't full. And I had not 1, but I had 2 of the gingerbread sandwich cookies. Crazy. And then that was it. That was it. Why? The first one was because I'm like, oh, I'm hungry. The second one was simply because I wanted one. I wanted another one, and there is nothing wrong with that. So that was my day of intuitive eating. And I don't know if you actually found it valuable listening to me kind of talk through the ebbs and the flows and my kind of tips for how you do it. But the reality is I do my best on the day-to-day to eat when I'm hungry. And some days that is at 7 a.m. Some days that's at 10:30, like the day that you just saw. And that's okay. Some days my lunch is a full-on lunch, sandwich, chips, carrots, dessert. Other days my lunch is actually just a snack. And as I've been going through this and learning to listen to my body, I've learned that there is an ebb and a flow, and my body will tell me what it needs and when it needs it. And so that's what I've really been trying to lean into with all of this intuitive eating stuff. And it has proven to be very, very helpful. I mean, the scale's down a little bit. My clothes are fitting better. I'm down like 1.5 inches on my waist. Like, change is happening, all because I stopped tracking and I am listening to my body instead. And that's a very, very powerful thing. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, as it really does help me out. And if you're not a member of the Diva and the Divine community and you would like to be, just click that little subscribe button to become a member. We would love to have you. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.